G'day Tiger fans and welcome to Talking Tigers, Richmond's live official podcast. It's a huge day down here at Tigerland and everyone has the party poppers out. It's the Chief, our fearless leader's birthday today, boys. Happy birthday.
60.
Happy birthday, Brendan. I'm not sure how old he is, but we'll have a bit of cake with him later on. Huge show today. Shane the Train will steam in to say hello. Wow, what about old Shano? We'll discuss Etihad Stadium. Hey, all-time sporting goats, Tone on the back of Roger Federer. What a legend he is. You want to talk about our little goal sneaks. Butler and Castagna played well again on the weekend. And it wouldn't be TT without some Dustin Martin chat, would it? He had another big game on the weekend. Dusty, JB, Greeners, welcome.
Yes.
Hello.
And
Great
Scones
to be
over
here.
there. Good
Great
to see
be here.
Scones.
Johnny P.
Yeah,
Johnny P's
We're in
here.
a new setting too.
Yeah, we're upstairs in the museum
Nice
today.
view. Now,
Yeah.
just explain the song off the top of the show.
No. That's Katie Lang, but we'll get to that a little bit later on.
Right.
Constant Craving.
She's
was
in
the song.
town, I think, at the
Yeah,
moment.
she
Couldn't
is
we
in
have
town.
gone with her Roy Orbison duet, Crying?
Well, we could have done that
A
as
few
well.
years ago, it was
Get
great.
involved with the show. JB might read it out. Hashtag Talking Tigers. You can stump Greeners as well. Hashtag Stump Greeners.
Yep.
We've
Can
got
I-
you a bit lately.
Yeah, no, you have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can we just go to a little bit of audio, if we could, right from the start of the show?
This year, Thomas is visiting his friend Shane in Australia.
Hi, Shane.
G'day, Thomas. Nice timing, mate. The doggies need your help.
Crikey, she's carked him.
That means Tracy's broken down. The doggies are the Western Bulldogs, an Australian football team, Thomas.
G'day.
Oh! Hop on, everyone. I'll get you to the game on time.
Oh, that'll do.
Yes, mate. Cheers.
What I don't understand about that is, weren't you told that you needed to put on a voice? Because why didn't you?
I did.
No, you
It's an
didn't.
Aussie accent.
Can you just explain what this is all about for those that might have been living on Mars for the last week and not aware of what you've been doing?
Well, that's obviously Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
The official...
Thomas sounds a little bit,
What?
well...
High-pitched?
Yeah, a bit high-pitched.
Well, maybe it's a new Thomas. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but that is
Anyway,
Thomas and the
okay.
Tank Engine, and they have collaborated with the AFL, and I'm providing the voice of Shano.
How did you
Shane
get the gig?
Train.
How did you get the gig?
Well, I think they put it out a few years ago, didn't they, to see which big
think
name
so.
Australian would play.
I think they put a poll out.
They did, and Russell Crowe was
Yeah.
mentioned.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think
Hugh
someone from
Jackman.
Poland out. Yeah, right.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they wanted too much money, so
Oh,
they
so
had-
you fit it into
so
the
they had
budget.
to settle
Keep sliding.
Really?
for Matthew Richardson instead. Oh no!
This is extraordinary. And this has absolutely captured the imagination of not just the football world, but
Oh,
the
it's
entire, Western world, really, as we know it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, but also, it's quite ironic, though, that no sooner does Shane the Train arrive on the scene in Melbourne town
The day
than
after.
the day after the entire Metro
The whole
Train
thing went down.
network went down.
Oh no! So a lot
So-
of people not happy with Shane. the
No,
Train.
not happy at all.
And you know who's filthy about it?
Who?
Well, our mate, the P Train.
The P Train.
He's
Kane
not
Pettifer.
happy. He thought he was the train.
Oh, he
Kane
would
Pettifer.
be filthy.
No, he's filthy.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
it was good fun. Bit
Great.
of fun.
So what happens from that? So you've done 4 episodes.
4 episodes. There's another
Yeah.
one coming out this week.
Really? So, and where does it go from there? Is
Well,
it,
who
is
knows?
Is it like a movie or what?
I'm not sure what happens.
Could you
but
be sort of having to go over to the
Well,
other
you
side
never
of the
know.
world and promote?
You never know. I
Right,
mightn't be here for much longer, so enjoy me.
Well, Ash Rodriguez has tweeted in, asked whether you go off at any of the other trains or the Fat Controller about about some of their work on the line.
Who is the Fat Controller?
Mick Malloy's the fat controller. Go Tigers. Go Mickey boy. Anyway, let's get on to some
all right,
football. It was a
okay,
bit of
yep.
fun. What about Dusty again? Tone, I know you want to talk about him.
Well, it just had a lazy 40. I think 15 in the third quarter, which absolutely. I mean, there wasn't a lot in it at half time, but he sort of absolutely turned it our way in the third quarter with his 15. He's finished with 40, so he's the first Richmond player since the introduction of official stats, which was in about 1965 was the introduction of official stats. He's the first Richmond player to get 40 plus disposals more than once in a season. So he's done it twice. He did it back in round 3 against West Coast.
Yeah.
He's the only one
To do it twice.
To do it twice in one season.
Joel Bowden did it once.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but
Who
no
else would have got 40 KB? Got 40.
one. Oh, yeah, but not more
twice.
than once in a season.
Do you know? Can you name the other people?
I
that
can
have
tell
had
you the
40?
ones that the one that's got the most has
Rob
got 4.
Wiley?
The most has got 4. The player that's got 4 is Walker.
Is that right?
Wayne Campbell did it 4 times. Dusty's now done it 3 times. In fact, interestingly, it was a year to the day exactly last Sunday July 16, where he did it for the first time, was 43 against Essendon on July 16 last year.
Yeah.
So he's now done it 3 times, so he's 1 behind Walker.
So another 3 Brownlow votes, you would assume, although he didn't get the perfect 10 in the coaches.
No, he and Koch got 9
Koch got
apiece.
9 as well.
Yeah.
Koch was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really good, really good. But I reckon, he might have got the 3. I think he's got high 20s. Thank goodness he got off on that charge yesterday, the MRP. But I think he's got.
I want to get into that a bit later on. So
but I reckon he's got high 20s for sure.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Well, Danger played pretty
Danger
well
got
as
another
well.
3 though, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
I like to keep track of tweets, and Jack Rewalt sent one out on Sunday after the game, saying he got sunburnt at Etihad Stadium
he wasn't
today.
happy.
The
He
roof-
wasn't happy.
Do you know what the official? A lot of people ask me this, JB.
The official line is
the 110 game, the roof can come off
Why?
because it remains daylight, obviously.
Yeah, I know
The
that.
3:20 game, the roof has to be on. That's
So-
the official line
So
from
what
the AFL.
when it's like on Sunday when it's freezing cold and it's
It was
really windy? Windy. Why wouldn't you maximise what the one advantage you've got of that stadium, which is a roof? Why wouldn't you maximise that?
You'd have to ask the AFL though.
Well, I'm asking you because you know everything.
Well, we've asked the AFL on
Yep.
Sundays when we've done the radio there,
And?
as I just said, 110 the roof can be off,
Yep.
and they would have thought it wasn't raining, so leave it off. And 3:20 it has to
But
be
when
on.
you're open to the other elements, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not just rain, but
Yeah,
you're open to the
I
wind and the
understand.
cold.
Yeah.
Just look after your spectators that are there. Anyway,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
It doesn't. So you want it on for all games?
Well, I would have thought so.
Yeah.
I know. I think Jack does, and I think the majority of people probably do want it
People
on for the
who
entire game.
go outside at the game, it was freezing. But,
Yeah.
and
when you
it was
watch it-
no colder than when we were down in Hobart last year. It was freezing.
No, but also because of
it's
the
But if you've got
it's
a roof,
winter.
use
But the
it.
configuration of the ground, and also with the sunlight, when the sun, it's just it's hard
Just
to
close
see.
it.
It's hard to see. Just close it anyway. I just want to talk about. You mentioned it briefly before, but Dan Butler and Georgie Castagna. Okay, so they've now kicked multiple goals again on the weekend. Butts kicked 3 and Georgie kicked 2, and
I
probably
reckon
should have kicked a lot
Georgie
more.
could have kicked 30 for the year. He's had some easy shots.
Yeah,
Hasn't
he's not going well with the set shot. So just hopefully he can work on that because he's just presenting really well. You're right, he could have kicked 30. So Butler's now kicked 20 and Georgie's kicked 19. So it's a real race between the two of them. And obviously it's a bit like the table tennis competition that they had. I'm not sure if someone then, whoever wins this, might have to get. There might be another tat to the loser of this goal kicking comp between them, perhaps.
And Daniel kicked a goal again.
Kicked a goal,
and,
really.
And we'll talk to Lou, who will come in a bit later on. Shea Bolton 5, so gee.
Yeah, and Stengel went well too.
So there's pressure on for those spots.
It's really good. It's really good. Yep, absolutely. Can I just briefly mention former, multiple Carlton premiership player, but Wayne Harms.
Yeah, good player.
He's just recovering. He's had a major heart attack. I think he had like a quintuple bypass and everything. So we send our best to him because Harmsy, even right through his career at Carlton, remained a Richmond supporter.
That right?
Remained right through the
didn't know that.
premierships and everything. A mad keen Richmond supporter. The grandson, of course, of Len Smith, who I will mention later in the Spirit of 67. But we send our best to him anyway.
Yeah,
So.
beautiful. Yeah.
We
All
want
the
to talk
best,
about.
Harmsy.
Yeah, correct. You want to talk about goats, Richo, which
I do.
goats in general.
Yeah.
Greatest of all
It's
time.
a real
I
term
love
that's
goat meat's good.
slipped into the vernacular
Yeah,
of
it
late.
has.
Greatest of all time.
Well, I was
didn't,
watching-
Morris Green, the sprinter, get it tattooed on himself.
He did.
I think so.
He's pretty happy with himself.
Yeah, but he didn't win 8 Wimbledons like you want to
I was
talk about.
watching Federer the other night, and it just made me think: is he the greatest sportsman of all time?
No,
now, a lot of people can
I'm saying no.
lay claim to that. Okay, I don't get
You're not a
edgy about it.
big tennis fan, though, are you?
No, I'm not a tennis fan.
You don't rate tennis, but to
Or
do
golf.
what he's done, 19 Grand Slams. I mean, I guess Serena Williams is up there in tennis terms, the greatest of all time. So who would you have in there then?
I am the greatest fighter of all time. I whoop George Foreman, I whoop Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali is the greatest of
That
all
was
time.
a terrible
Yeah,
impersonation.
well, it's just pretty quick, you know.
I reckon
He's the
Don
greatest of all
Bradman
time.
has to be
well,
in the conversation.
Bradman, obviously, for
Twice as good
for
as
cricket,
anyone else.
but not every country plays cricket throughout the world. So, but the most recognisable face on the planet
It's Muhammad Ali.
was Muhammad Ali at his peak.
Yeah.
And we used to get at school. We used to get time off from the classes to
You've
go
told
and
us
watch his
this 3
fights.
times.
Well, you said to go with it again
Yeah,
today.
all right.
Yeah.
JB, you love all sports.
Wow.
You don't get pigeonholed like Tone does.
I do enjoy golf and tennis.
So
and
who
the
would
like.
you- who would you put in the conversation?
Speak to any footballer today or someone who was my generation, although they're a lot younger than me now, but Michael Jordan
Yeah.
would be the one that everyone came through and watched, and he won his 6 titles and had a break and everything
What
like
about
that.
Tom Brady?
Tom
the
Brady,
quarterback?
yeah, he's pretty good. Kelly Slater.
Kelly
But
Slater,
it seems like anyone who goes on a big winning streak at the moment.
Wayne Gretzky.
the greatest. He was called the greatest, Wayne Gretzky. So there's plenty out there.
Plenty out there.
Send
It's
in,
a good
send
period
in.
of time to.
It
Kelly
is.
Slater.
Kelly Slater, we just said.
I just said that.
She's good.
Yeah.
What?
So send in your send in your hashtag Talking Tigers.
Yep.
Unless-
Let us
Goats,
know, let
your
us know.
greatest sport. And well, I
Oh,
guess
of
in
course.
football you'd have Lee Matthews, Wayne Carey,
Royce.
Hart.
Yep, KB.
Royce, yeah.
KB.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, send them in.
Good idea.
You got mail.
Well,
Oh,
hang on. Can we just mention one more thing?
Go on.
absolutely.
I know you wanted to talk about this.
What?
Dangerfield
Oh,
playing one
yeah,
out.
no, I did.
It wasn't on the
Sorry,
rundown.
no, you're right. I was going to bring this up. Because this is a revolution in football.
It's just
Someone playing close to goal.
I'm so
and
glad.
kicking goals.
And
so-
taking marks.
having shots at goal.
I'm
11
so
shots
glad-
at goal.
I'm so glad Dangers has done that because it just shows coaches leave your most dangerous player one out inside 50. And I think it'll happen a bit more moving forward now.
So who would our... Well, we could
Well,
do
we could
Dusty
put
or Jack. Jack's
Either-
pretty
they're
dangerous.
probably our best two one-on-one
We're
players.
lucky we've got two
Yeah.
who can do it.
So, and it stretches out the zone and
Yeah.
it creates a few little holes in there. So
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, it's revolutionised the game.
You've got mail.
We're back.
Have you got any?
Yeah, we've got a couple. Got an email from Mitch this morning. Mitch Robertson. I think the weekend really highlighted the need of playing two talls. Soldo played his role solidly enough, but Jack had 8 shots on goal.
Yeah.
And if you look at the games Elton Soldo have played earlier in the year, this seems a common trend.
And that was
Yeah.
your yellow and black. We'll get to it
Let's
later.
get to it a bit later. So
No, but look,
good
I
pick up there, Mitch.
And Dimmer mentioned later. I mean, look, Soldo's very green. We know that. You know, it was only
But
his
he
third
gave
game.
us a contest.
Mate, he was able to get his hands on the ball at centre bounces and gave Nank a chop out, and Nank looked a lot fresher too,
Yeah.
and was quite productive too when he played forward.
Well,
so-
Griff back on the weekend and got
Agree.
through as well.
Yeah,
Wholeheartedly. Rob Grenfell emailed in as well. Happy Tuesday, boys. Been a while since I've been in touch, but just a few notes out of the game, so we'll go into these in more detail. But he just wanted to highlight how tough and courageous Dylan Grimes has been. He gets smashed week in,
doesn't he?
week out, and just gets up and has another crack time and time again, which is great to see.
Very,
He's
very
always
Last 2 weeks, he's
courageous.
just really set the tone going back. Well, I mean, the Saints game, the tone wasn't really
Absolutely.
set, but he put his body on the line
Had a good
the
year.
last 2 weeks.
And
He has.
so was Dave Asprey.
Yeah,
he
my
was
word.
good again.
My word, he is.
Let's whip through a few tweets that have come in. Good, Sconners. Tiger Lynn saying it was great to see Griffo and the Super Boot back on field at Frankston.
Yeah, I
Looking
saw.
forward to chatting to Lou about it in
Yeah.
the VFL report.
Yeah.
I
if we
saw
can get him off
Ty-
the grass.
I saw Lynn at the sponsors function the other night. So just send a cheerio out to Lynn.
Sky Dweller saying we should have played a KD Lang song. He sent this through during the week, and we
Yeah,
listened to his
well
advice
done.
off the top.
Yeah, that's
We
good.
took your suggestion.
LC West 11 has just finished up 2 days at the Ultra Music Festival in Europe, and just tuning in to watch the
Oh.
Tigers.
Where's that? Where's that festival?
I'm not too sure. You know
In
who
Europe.
was there?
Who?
Carl Cox.
Oh, Coxie, the,
Killer Carl Cox.
the triple
Carl.
deck master from
The
down.
wrestler.
Lives down at Mount Eliza. He wouldn't have a clue who Carl Cox is.
I got no
Lives
idea.
down in Mount Eliza, Carl
Mount
Cox.
Eliza,
Yep.
great part of the world.
Yep.
The Tale
Near
saying
Frankston.
it's a massive game this week. If we win, we just take a step closer to finals. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
a good
yes,
point.
yeah.
Keith Upton saying poor Dusty will be tagged now that he is on the 2 strikes or the precipice, as you said before.
Yes.
I want
Greeners.
to talk
well.
about that.
One more no Brownlow, but probably more in danger is actually missing a game the closer we get to the end of the season.
No, he'll be right. He hasn't had a history of
No.
any trouble.
He'll be
Dusty,
right.
he'll be fine.
Jess Benson saying happy to see Griffo back as well.
Few happy
Redhead
birthday
saying
wishes.
yeah, happy birthday to the Chief from Redhead.
How old would the Chief be?
50?
Also,
No, he's been near 60, wouldn't he?
I don't know.
can we give a shout out to Mick Sonny G? It's his birthday today as well.
Happy birthday,
right?
Mick. Yeah.
A couple of luminaries having their birthday.
Okay.
Chief,
today.
the chief came down to the Hotel Brighton Friday night, and
Did he?
Jack was down there.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Yeah, good. Jack was very good. Gave up his time, and
That's
yeah,
good.
thanks for that, Jack.
Excellent.
What would a show be without a mention from Manfred?
Oh,
Yes.
Just saying, Prestia drew high praise from Dimmer for his job on
irrelevance
Zorko.
disorder, Manfred.
I think he also got the votes from Chris Fagan as well. So
Yeah,
both
no, he got-
coaches
he got
very,
6 votes.
very
Complimentary.
high
of
praise
his-
of
yeah.
Dion Prestia. Kept Dane Zorko to his second lowest disposal tally for the year.
Yep.
And finally, Brock Solar saying, do you think the Chief knocked back the gig at the AFL because Gill got all the attention from the PM during
that's
his
a good point.
visit? So
No,
he hasn't missed there.
AFL House would not be big enough for the two of
No.
them. No
Couldn't
chance.
fit Gil and Brendan
No,
inside
no
AFL
way.
House.
No way.
And finally, the last tweet was about Brendan.
Not from Richard Bader. We haven't heard from Richard Bader for a while.
No, he's taking a bit of time off. This is from Panky61, Neil Pankhurst. The Chief going for the low-profile look
Well, that's
against the Lions.
well, that's a great lead-in.
Ah.
That is a great
Perfect.
lead-in.
Hit it.
Oh, ho, ho.
Gee, Sconnors is really sharp today.
Oh, isn't he? He's just well, that's very Very timely. Apt, is it? Very timely. What was Neil Pankhurst, was it?
It was.
He's got a good tickler on top of his lip, Neil, hasn't he, Scones?
Well, it was Booney.
It does look a bit like
Booney.
Booney,
Yeah,
Neil.
yeah, it does.
Thanks for that, though, Neil, because that led in beautifully. Off the top of the show, we had KD Lang,
was wondering
Constant
why.
Craving.
Yep.
Now, the reason that we had it is because KD Lang was at our game on the weekend at Etihad Stadium. She had a selfie with Peggy O'Neill. That selfie was taken by Brendan. Now, Brendan was wobbling around with KD.
Well, you see, because he has constant craving for attention.
Yeah, he does. That's right.
That's why you went with it.
Now,
Got it.
KD Lang, a global name,
Yep.
Brendan gravitates towards global figures, doesn't he?
Loves fame.
Right? But at Etihad Stadium on Sunday, he realised he just had an inkling that the rank and file Richmond
really?
supporters, the diehards,
Okay.
that don't get access to superstars, the ones that go every week and spend their hard-earned money in the members and cheer squad,
That pay his
that
salary.
pay,
Yeah.
right? He's got a little bit of wind that a few of them are starting to, not like his wobble that he's got.
Oh, okay.
So what he did on the weekend, he went down into the cheer squad, Brendan,
Really?
wore a beanie, just to look like he was one of
You would have hated that.
the members down in the cheer squad. And he wobbled around in the cheer squad for a little while. So I guess we've got to give him a bit of credit. He's now acknowledging everyone, not just the superstars,
Of course, he's
Brendan.
not the first president of the club that's gone down to the
No,
cheer
Neville
squad.
Crowe
The
used to
late
go
Neville
down
Crowe
there.
went down once and
Yeah.
actually, I don't know why, but he dropped his strides. And just
Crowe
said,
did.
We can't do that. I'm sure the chief would have loved to have done that too, but now that is illegal in Mel. You actually get fined.
Did he do a Bob Hawkins skull of beer down there, the chief?
Well, Kingy did too.
Yeah, like Jake King did. No, so well done, Chief.
It's good.
Well done, Chief, getting around the people.
Yep.
Yep, constant craving for attention.
The beanie's doing a bit as well.
Yeah.
He didn't have the trench coat on, did he?
No, he wore a tracksuit tie.
Good.
The Pumas zip up. Club news, though. Let's give a shout out to our great partners of Talking Tigers, Bang & Olufsen. They've got a competition running at the moment.
How come Lou hasn't got a set of Bang & Olufsens?
I'm not too sure.
You said they came in real handy for you on the plane too.
On the Jetstar.
I wore them on Saturday night.
Right, just blocked out all
the noise.
noise. And
Anyway, they're
Didn't
currently
have to
running
listen to Lingy.
a competition called Raw Reactions. If you go to the website richmondfc.com.au/raw reactions, you can tell us why you are the most passionate Richmond fan for your chance to experience round 19 when we play the Gold Coast from the Bang & Olufsen Ultimate Luxury TV and Sound System Lounge with food and beverage included, and you'll also feature in a Raw Vision production. So get along to that website and enter in your details. This week we're playing GWS Sunday at the MCG. Kids come free via Ticketek. And, just get along to the game. And we'll talk to Lou about it as well, but there's a curtain raiser for the VFL who are going very nicely
good are
against
the
Collingwood
VFL
VFL here at Swinburne Centre at Punt Road Oval from 10:20 a.m.
Homecoming hero.
Homecoming hero this week is Stephen Mount.
Crazy Mount.
You might have
Mount.
to take over that
Crazy
one.
Mount. Yeah, well,
1980 Premiership player,
1980
of course.
Premiership centre half back in the Premiership side. Yeah.
Good play. Good bike too, Stephen.
So that's club.
Got a bit of medical room for us?
Yeah, we do. So no one.
Sort of morphed into club news medical room.
Yeah, well, we needed a bit
Got
more.
to pat it out somehow.
Got to beef it up somehow.
Had to pat it out.
Jack Graham injured his ankle in the VFL. He'll face a fitness test this week to see
Can't
whether
take a trick, Jack.
he gets up. So the 8-day break is probably helping him there.
Yep.
Steve Morris, hamstring 1 to 2 weeks. Reece Conker getting closer but still on the TBC. Drummo's out for the year and Sean Hampson still indefinite. So that's it. And it was good to see Griffo
good.
come off last week. And also,
Absolutely,
finally,
it was.
club news. It was good to see on Saturday morning Daniel Rioli sign on
Oh,
at
of
the club
course.
for 2 more
years.
years.
Yep, that's
So
great.
Good to lock up his future
Absolutely.
over the next couple of years.
He's a
for
star,
sure.
Daniel.
I'm as bad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Scones, I just want to have a listen to Dimmer first.
You probably get belted in the back 35 times for the game. I reckon it'd be fair enough. But we got a memo from the AFL saying that if you consistently hit someone in the back, it's going to be a free kick. So that's up for the umpires to adjudicate.
Absolutely spot on, Dimmer. If you get elbowed in the back 35 times and eventually you respond, you know how this can be stopped?
Yep.
Pay a free kick
That's
straight
right.
away.
Exactly right.
Pay a free kick straight away, and then I'm telling you now, Chris Fagan, the message will get down pretty quickly that you can't give away any more free kicks or a 50-metre penalty. That takes it out.
Of course it does. It's just common sense, really.
It's
isn't
just common sense. And a player like Dustin who gets targeted like that, he responds and then he gets in trouble because the umpires didn't pay the free kick straight away.
It actually takes a bit to get him because he is a very disciplined, composed player.
Well, it took him a fair while before he responded. And it's just not good enough. It's simple solution. Pay free kicks. Pay more free kicks,
That's right.
and it'll stop pretty quickly.
Stop really quickly.
And geez, it makes me angry. When I saw the headline, Martin charged last night, I nearly fell off my chair at home.
You know, well, it's not tough or anything to do that
No,
anyway.
it's not tough.
No,
It's not.
it's just
The good taggers over the years, Cameron Ling didn't do that, really.
No.
I mean, he did got Bucks to respond once in that famous incident.
but still, yeah.
You just, I don't mind people playing on, but that's just nonsense. Pay free kicks and it won't happen anymore. And let's hope Dusty doesn't react again and it costs him a game or a chance to win at Brownlow.
Yep, that's a very good rant. You're only one ever. I've got to come up with a new sting. Just ridiculous, isn't it?
Johnny P's going to sleep.
Tell you what,
Hasn't had enough time.
Hasn't Roland got some state-of-the-art equipment up here? The old cassette recorder. And it's fantastic. Not sure Bang & Olufsen was around then when... Anyway, of course, on the back of Shane the Train, it's only right that... And, of course, Shane the Train is the most famous Australian Shane of all time. There's no doubt. Already.
Right.
Is he really?
But I'm going to do 10 other Aussie Shanes. So it's actually not Richmond related this week, but
Good,
I thought we'd have a little bit of fun.
It's been the same for 15 weeks.
I managed to get Royce in there too, because I think that might be one of his middle names. No, so in alphabetical order, top 10 Aussie Shanes. Shane Bourne, of course, the comedian and host of one of those shows on Channel 7. Dancing with the Stars, he was hosting that for a while. Number 2, our own Shane Edwards, of course, coming up to game number 200 in a week's time, I think, against Gold Coast. Number 3, of course, Olympic swimming champion Shane Gould. Not sure how she'd go with Shane the Train, but Shane Gould, just one of our greatest ever sporting people.
Good swimmer.
Wonderful swimmer, of course. Number 4 is Shane Howard of Goanna fame, great singer and songwriter. Shane Howard. Number 5, Shane Jacobson, of course.
Kenny.
At Kenny. Go back there. Number 6 is Shane Kelly, OAM, Olympic silver medalist cyclist in the Barcelona Olympics, won the silver medal, so very good cyclist. Number 7, of course, Tucky, Shane Tuck.
Is he top 10, Tucky?
Yeah, the Aussie Shanes. How would Tucky go with Shane the Train?
Oh, he wouldn't do it,
He
Tucky.
would know. He might fluff his lines a bit. How many takes did it take you?
No,
All right.
first go,
Oh,
actually.
good. Fantastic.
Couldn't you tell?
No. Number 8, of course, the great Shane Warne. Now, Warney obviously would have been approached initially, but...
He wanted too much coin as well.
Of course, yeah. Number 9, Shane Watson, looking very dapper around town, of course, he's heavily involved with these cricket negotiations at the moment, Shane Watson.
It's a disaster, the cricket.
No, it'll be all right. We'll get through. We've got... Will Sutherland, he'll open the attack.
Yeah.
And number 10 is Shane Zantuck. Of course, Ty Zantuck's old man played with about 15 league clubs throughout his career. So there you go.
Good
the
bloke,
top
Shane.
10 Aussie Shanes.
There you go. That was ordinary.
Yeah, I know. Well, I only did it for you. I only did because of you.
Anyway, big game at the G on Sunday coming up.
Oh, it's a big game,
GWS
all right.
Giants.
Very big game.
Giants
very big
haven't
game.
won for 3 weeks.
No,
2 draws
they
and a
haven't.
loss.
They haven't, yeah. And we obviously got the job done against Brisbane. Wasn't a wonderful performance or anything, but it was important, obviously, to get back on the winners list, and we did it comfortably in the end.
One thing we can't do against the Giants, and this is going to be my take on the game. One thing each we normally do.
I'm not sure. But fair enough.
We need to not turn the ball over like we did around half forward on the weekend, because if there's one team that will punish you on the turnover, it's the Giants. Their skill level was pretty high, and they're pretty slick with that outside run that they get through Scully and Kelly and these guys. So we can't turn the ball over as much this week. That would be my little take on the game.
Do you think Cameron will play?
He was a late withdrawal, wasn't he?
Bit of hamstring tightness,
I reckon, they wouldn't want to risk his hamstring if it's tight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Wayne Campbell spoke today and said Canelio might even be in contention for the
Straight back
AFL
in.
side. So
Yeah,
they reckon he'll
been
play
out.
this week, but
He
at
hasn't
what
played
level?
much footy
No, I think
this year.
Yeah.
What's your take then, Tone?
Well, the importance of what stood out last Sunday was that we won the contested ball count and we won the clearances, just really smashed them in the clearances. So and contested balls.
Dustin Martin had more clearances than just about all of their midfielders.
Yeah, so that's going to be really important, I think. And with Soldo being able to give Nanka a chop out and coming up against Big Mummy, of course, I think that'll be really. Oh, sorry, mate. That'll be really important. That
shades of 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no,
I think.
sorry.
I was going to say, gee, it'd be good to see the ruck battle up against Big Mummy and They went really tall last week, GWS, so whether they tinker with their system at all, but I thought, as Mitch emailed in earlier, I thought with the 2 talls for us it worked really well, and hope we persist with it this week as well.
I think we will for the rest of the year.
And just
now.
with that contested ball, Milesy coming back into the side and coming up now against his old team is just really important, I think, for the structure of the team. Yep.
Yeah, all right. We'll get to the G on Sunday. It's the 1:10 game, isn't it?
It is the
Did you mention that in club news? Because I didn't listen to you.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah,
I think
so the roof will definitely be off at the G, won't it?
Yeah, it will be. Who are your votes then from the weekend?
Sorry. My votes. 3 to Dusty, 2 to Koch for all the reasons that mentioned. I go 1 to Dion Prestia for the great job that he did on Zorko and also got a fair bit of the ball himself and used it well.
Yeah, he deserves some credit.
Ran
mate,
hard
because
both
Zorko was playing nearly as good a footy as Dangerfield.
Yep.
It
was a really determined performance by Prestia.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well done there. What about you, JB?
Pretty much the same. I know people were saying that Dusty's game wasn't as great as people are making it out to be, but
his numbers were extraordinary.
40 touches, 4 shots on goal, 14 clearances. The next best on the ground had 4.
Sounds pretty good to me.
12 inside 50s. The next best had 5. So
and kicked 2, I think.
2.
That's
so it's hard to go past that.
That's what happens when you play to a high level, though. You start getting judged even higher.
I gave 2 to Koch as well because I thought he was really good across the whole 4 quarters, and 1 to Dion Prestia, his best 2-way running game for us so far.
Yeah, he was great. He might get a role this week as well then.
He could well.
Maybe Josh
and
Kelly.
Maybe in 2 weeks' time he might line up on the Little Master maybe against his old club.
Yeah. Hey, I gave 3 to Martin, 2 to Koch. Koch is great. I really loved his game.
Yep.
I gave 1 to Jack. I thought he played well and kicked the 4 goals. So I thought I'd give Jack the 1 vote this week. And you know the other player, I want to mention Asprey again.
Again, you've just mentioned him
but
before.
I'm really...
You mentioned him 5 minutes ago.
I know, but I'm that happy
it's
with
the number
him.
12. You're really proud of him, aren't you?
I am proud of him.
And rightly so.
He's playing good footy.
And just hope that you're pushing his name up at All-Australian.
Yeah,
I know there's a fair few there in contention, but yeah.
So the leaderboard, Dusty's on 85 now. He's in front of Rancy on 43, Koch on 40.
Can he lose
I don't think he... Oh, he can, but I don't think he will. Grigger's our man, who'll probably be back next week, Scones. Griggy? Yeah, Griggy will be in next week, our man.
If we win.
Yeah, and 21, Jack on 5th position.
Okay.
Can I just say that it's been a while since any one of us nailed one of these.
We were stiff with it. We were all really
I reckon
stiff.
we all got real close this week.
Really close.
Yeah. You'll tell us what you did.
Oh, I went for Koch. Kick 25.
I'm about to go off like fine either way you're going today. You're
What's
annoying
wrong?
me.
Well, I gave you all my lollies before, right? So you can't be grateful for that.
Just don't venture into Hillary territory.
No.
That was Finey last week when Hillary tried to cut him off.
No, he wasn't impressed with Hillary.
I think it was
Jeez,
Hillary.
He gave her the rounds of the kitchen, didn't he? Anyway, I went for Koch to get 25 plus disposals and multiple goals.
And he did have 25.
And he kicked 1 and he got 9 coaches' votes, so I'm a bit unlucky.
I reckon I'll nearly give you that.
Oh, thank you.
Nearly.
Oh.
But I won't.
Right, okay.
I got mine right the week before.
Yes.
Last week I said Todd Alton would come in, and as a result, Jack would have 5 shots on goal.
Well, that's a massive fail.
I got it wrong at the start.
Yep.
Todd didn't come in at all, but
Soldo
I think
did,
Soldo coming in and the second tall, Nank going forward, Jack had 8 scoring shots on goal, so the theory was okay.
I reckon you were extremely
Just the
lucky
wrong
to get
execution. This
What are you
week, well, Daniel Rioli kicked multiple goals 4 out of the first 6 weeks this season and hasn't done so since then. So I reckon he's in line to kick multiple goals this week.
Did you give us yours for this one?
No,
Oh, sorry.
I can't remember who I went.
You got numbers here.
Oh, of course, that's right. Milesy, that's right. No, Milesy to get 25 and 6 clearances. 25 plus and 6 clearances, that's right.
And he was good. I reckon he'll do that. Milesy, I like that one.
It's his old team.
I'm going to go with a bit of a risky one because I don't know who's going to be left out.
Strong and bold, yeah.
I'm saying Shea Bolton will come back into the team and kick 2 goals, but gee, I don't know who would go out. That's the only problem.
Well,
so that's a bit of a long shot, probably.
Okay.
But I like Shea's game, and Lou's about to walk in now. He's just here, actually, so we'll ask him what he thinks.
Looking sharp.
Hey, sorry. Edwards. I had him.
Edwards.
He didn't get 25, but he nearly did.
Nearly.
Yeah, I missed out.
We know how to make the most of who you are. To let the best of man
Well, with a sting like that, it can mean only one thing. It's VFL report time, and as always, we're joined by Lou Gillett to have a look at the game down at Frankston v Werribee. Strange. We don't know what that was all about, but it was a magnificent win, Lou.
Magnificent win. I think the reason behind it might have been that Werribee's ground, I think, is under construction at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously not a lot of footy being played out at Frankston this year, so they've moved it out there. But thankfully for us, location wasn't an issue. 102 points and our fifth on the trot.
Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts of things, I do need to ask you a question. I was tweeted by a Richmond supporter on the weekend, and the report was that you were wobbling around on the green stuff, Lou. You know that's not acceptable.
I cannot,
Is that right?
I cannot do anything without one of these supporters chiming up and letting one of you guys know.
right.
But yes, I've been caught. I was on the green stuff. I thought, post-match, we've just won 5 in a row.
Mate, not good enough. No.
I reckon I thought I was entitled to it.
That's for the players and coaches only.
No,
I had another supporter that contacted me and said that...
On Twitter?
Yes, on Twitter, and said that they saw you getting stuck into a dog's eye and dead horse.
I know that one. You can't get me with that one.
Is that right?
I tell you what,
but that you got a bit crook, but you got a bit butchers in the comics after that. Is that right?
All right, you got me there.
Actually, if you eat too many of those, your Bobby Lutz will blow up. Anyway, get on to the VFL.
On to the sausage rolls.
Yes, many sausage rolls were kicked on the day.
Many sausage rolls, and I think the most sausage rolls that most Richmond fans would be concerned with would be the 5 that went to Shea Bolton. It was a bit of a masterclass up his end there. Started off really strong with 2 in the first quarter, and you just had the feeling he was in for a big day after that. And finishing with that haul of 5, you'd think he's only been in the VFL for a week or so, but he might be ready to go straight back up, I would have thought.
I haven't seen the highlights package. How did he get most of those goals? Just from snaps, or did you take a couple of big grabs as well?
It was a nice little variety. There was a couple of little set shots in there. His second goal was the highlight for me. He sold a bit of hand candy in a very tight space in the pocket there and ended up actually Walton just walking into an open goal, which was fantastic for all the Tiger supporters who'd come to see a bit of magic from Shea, and a couple of crafty snaps as well, which is fast becoming his trademark.
Well, there was a snap. Some of the Frankston locals tell me that pocket is almost impossible to snap goals from, and he did it.
Yeah. Well, it's a check side pocket for a right footer, but he's gone with the inside out banana instead, and somehow I couldn't quite believe it when I saw it. I thought I must be the depth perception must be getting to me or something.
Yeah, right.
But after, as you know, I went out there and I did have a bit of look on the green stuff after. Did a bit of study, and it was in a pretty almost impossible angle, I would have thought.
Okay.
But he squeezed it in.
Now Ben Lennon hit the scoreboard too.
He did. So it was his first week back as well. There's a couple of other big names, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a moment. But he came back with 4 goals, which is pretty much his par for VFL level. Really impressive. First quarter maybe started off a little bit slow. I think they did have their eye on him as a potential danger man, so he's pretty highly marked. But ended up finishing with 2 goals in the second quarter and then 1 each in the third and fourth to round it out.
And with those forwards pressing for selection, kicking goals, the guys above them, like Castagna and Butler, they need to keep playing well like they did on the weekend. So
absolutely.
Good signs, Lou.
Yeah, they are lifting. And the other one I'd throw in there who played well on the weekend, was Tyson Stengel, who always does. The first quarter was his arena, basically. He set up both of Shea's goals, kicked 2 of his own as well. So he's another who's in really good form. But as you say, the guys on Sunday really did lift at AFL level. So it's pretty tight contention in there at the moment for anyone coming up or down, I would have thought.
Yeah, who else played well?
Well, the one I looked to particularly in the first quarter was Marbior Chol. You probably know by now that he's starting to learn his craft a bit more as a defender. 3 very solid intercept marks in that first quarter, and he ended up going, I think, he did 100% efficiency by both hand and boot for the day as well. So playing out is something, we know as a forward, going back, his skill in the air is something that he's already had, but playing out, which is perhaps something he might not be as familiar with, is something he's proved to be really solid as, something I'm sure they've worked with him quite heavily on. So really great signs for him. The other one I'd throw in there is Taylor Hunt as well. Probably one of the best performers of the AFL group. Finished with 30 disposals, 2 clearances, a tackle, and 8 marks as well. So a pretty well-rounded game from Taylor, coming back after that big loss, obviously, to St Kilda, would be his last AFL appearance. So to hit the track hard like that, I thought was really impressive from him.
We got a tweet in from Ando, who's at Tigers of old. He's been impressed with Calmore's development since returning from injury. Kicking has improved and confidence is growing. Do you share those same sentiments?
Oh, I absolutely do. And Ando, as always, bang on the money.
He was there too.
He was there as well, and he usually knows what he's on about, and this is no exception. Of his 17 touches, he also managed to get 3 tackles, 3 clearances, just the 1 goal this week after coming back pretty strongly with a couple against out at Beaconsfield last week. So, but I think the thing that really does stand out is his marking ability, and like I was saying last week, the faith that he has in kind of his lower body after coming back from that injury to still go up and take very strong, impressive marks. His development is coming along very nicely.
Lou, did he do a bit of ruck work as well?
He did do a bit of ruck work, and I was thinking of you, Greeners, when he did that, because you've always held the theory that maybe he'll be able to go forward as a pinch ruckman. So he wasn't too bad. Ended up with just the 4 hit-outs for the day. But obviously, as a guy who hasn't had a lot of experience in the ruck at this level,
he's got a leap, though, hasn't he?
He has got a leap. That really is his strong suit, you'd probably say. And yeah, a couple of hit-outs there. Maybe a bit of a taste what's to come. You might be onto something there, Greeners.
Yeah, right. Confidence in the body and forward rucking leads us to Ben Griffiths. How did he go in his return back? A few people saw him when we put the picture up of him singing the song with his tracksuit on. They thought...
They thought,
oh no, but it was planned that he would only play the first half.
Was planned.
And Dimmer was pretty happy too. I know his presser,
Yeah, I did hear him say that. Dimmer was quite happy, and if you saw him play, you probably would be as well. The first quarter, a bit like Ben Lennon, I thought he was just a little bit quiet. First game back after a while. Last time we saw him was in round 2 against Sandringham.
Had a long time off, hasn't
very, very long time off. But in the second quarter, he popped up with 2 goals. Roosted one from about 55 metres out, that trademark set shot and that big right boot we know he has. And that was particularly nice to see. And then dribbled a nice little one home at the end of the second quarter.
Could end up being very, very important in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, you know, he'll be fresh too, won't he? Which is really good. Well, a few other players. Jacob Townsend continued his good form.
Good form again. 30 touches again for him, which, as you probably know by now, is pretty much par for the course for him at VFL level. 6 marks, 8 clearances, 8 tackles too. So what we continually see from him is a great spread across the stat sheet. The tackles there, again, is the ones that really stand out to me. Jack Graham, who combines with him.
My boy.
Your boy, that's exactly right, as we've claimed him. When they're both in there, the tackle numbers and the pressure is just so high, so intense. It's been a massive part of this little run they've been able to put together over the past 5 games.
Well, Jack Graham left the game in the third quarter, was it, with the ankle injury?
End of the second.
End
so
of the second.
Half-time, he went off.
Can you go through his stat line? What he picked up before that?
So before that, it was a bit of a shame because he was having quite the game. 21 touches he had to the half.
Serious?
Got a mark in there. 8 clearances and 6 tackles. So he was in line for just a huge game. And unfortunately, going off, like we say, with that little ankle knock at halftime, we didn't see him for the rest of the game.
Well, so he and Townsend have picked up the slack, obviously, with no Milesy in the side.
No Milesy in
and
there,
so
exactly right.
they've responded really well.
They sure have, and that's, I guess, why there was a bit of worry there about that ankle, but hopefully signs will be all right for young Jack.
Now, Corey Ellis, how did he go?
Yeah, not too bad from Corey, playing again as that outside runner and one of the chief ball users of the side. Ended up with his 24 disposals and was pretty industrious in that sense and getting a lot of the ball. 1 mark, 3 clearances and a tackle as well, plus a couple of rebound 50s. So saw a bit more of him off half-back as well, which I think is probably a skill that's good for him to kind of get adept with. You never know whether the opportunity might present itself there at AFL level. So Corey, another pretty solid performance from him, getting back to his best, I would have thought.
No, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I don't think we'll lose another game for the rest of the
come
season.
on, Tom.
No, I'm only kidding. No, but seriously, we are playing extremely well. We've got five in a row, and I think we're playing the bottom 5 sides in the run.
We've lined up the bottom 5 sides. So
next up, obviously no game's a gimme, of course.
So if we did tick off those against teams below us, that'd a top 4 finish, wouldn't it?
We'd be looking at a top 4 finish. So we're in the top 4 at the moment. We've got the percentage over Footscray, who we've knocked down to 5th. And like you say, Greenies, we've still got the bottom 5 sides coming up against who, from memory, if I'm going back, we've got Geelong, Collingwood, Sandringham, not in this order. Coburg and North Ballarat still. So it's a pretty solid end to the season. As you say, we don't get carried away. They're all going to be difficult games, especially there's 3 sides in there who have still got AFL affiliations. So, but with the way they've been playing lately, they are the informed side. I would hate to be coming up against them.
Well, might play off against Newey's boys, the Box Hill.
Newey's boys, they are in very good nick at the moment.
But seriously, it's an absolute credit to Fly, the way he's got this team performing. They stormed home last year, won their last 6, and now after a slow start this year, put 5 in a row together. So they are flying.
Well, that's great news. Thanks, Tone, for that.
No, that's all right.
I'd like to hear that. You're so positive about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
JB, anything else from you?
Oh, I'll just say that along those lines, that if you are a Richmond supporter, get down and watch this team play, because Lou, you get to go every week and see them. It must fill you with confidence that you go there and you see an effort.
Oh, it fills me with so much confidence that I feel the need to obviously get out on the green stuff after the game.
Part of it.
So just to tidy all of that up, don't go on there again. A suspended fine for you.
A suspended fine? No, I'm not having this. I thought I might have earned it. I thought it might have been a bit of a good luck omen for these 5 games.
No, mate. Do not venture on there again. You've
got a swollen 3kz, honestly.
It's right off his 3kz.
Actually.
Lou, magnificent.
Now, who we got quickly this week then?
Collingwood coming up on Sunday at Punt Road. And as JB said, get down, support them, because they're in a good run of form.
Thanks, Lou. Well, I think it was timely that we gave him a little clip, Lou.
No, I think
'cause
so.
He's been getting ahead of himself.
He has been.
And venturing onto the grass. So I think we'll find he'll pull himself back into gear this week. Don't you think?
He needs to.
Yeah, he does.
He's going well.
He's going very well.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is indeed.
Now, seriously, are we going with this segment?
What
or
are we
not?
doing? Oh, I've got a great segment already in mind for next year.
Oh, well, tell us after you do this
All right,
segment.
okay, yeah.
Make it quick.
What? Why? You got a gig?
No, I haven't got anything, but it's just boring.
You're bored with it. What do you reckon I am? I've got to come up with this nonsense every week. No, that's not right. That is totally disrespectful.
This segment's all right.
No, it's the top 10 you
The
don't
top
like.
10's got to go.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right. The spirit of 67 is really important because as we celebrate 50 years since that drought-breaking premiership. Now, you might recall, if you'd been listening last week, that we had the bye this time 50 years ago.
No, I didn't remember.
No, okay. But we were back in action 50 years next Saturday, the 22nd of July. Well, we played Footscray. We belted Footscray at the MCG, 1916 to 8-10. Swoop and Northey was having a great season, kicked 4.
Kicked 50 for the year, Swoop.
Yeah, he did. Paddy Ganane kicked 4, KB 3, Billy Barrett kicked 2, and Tony Jewell, I don't know what TJ was doing up forward, but he kicked 2 goals. So your old man was back playing. He'd missed a few weeks with asthma, but he had 18 disposals, 4 kicks and 14 handballs. Dick Clay's very good, 22 touches. Kevin Chin's 22. Paddo, we were talking about Mike
Swamp
Patterson
Fox.
before. Swamp Fox had a huge game, yeah.
Photo of him right behind
Great
you
photo
there.
of Swampy. He had 25 disposals, a lot for a big...
For a ruckman,
For a
yeah.
ruckman, 9 marks, 11 hitouts, had a big game. Bugsy Barrett had 26 and KB 28. Royce just quite a game, 15 disposals, 6 marks and a goal. Now,
I
interestingly...
thought we weren't reading stuff.
No. But in the Footscray side this day, right, there's a couple of interesting names
Teddy
there.
Whitten play?
Teddy didn't play this day, no, he didn't. But Fred Cook, the great, fabulous Fred Cook, who then went to Port Melbourne, became a star. He played 33 games for Footscray. This is one of the games he had there.
Kicked 1,000 goals at Port, didn't he?
Great player. Other great names there were Gary Dempsey, of course. The great
Who's
Gary
now
Dempsey.
the second greatest mark taker in the history
That's
of the
right,
game.
with Nick Rewell going past him. Georgie Bissett. Georgie Bissett then went to Collingwood. Very good player, Georgie Bissett. Joey McGee. Joe McGee was the brother of Robert McGee. He played for Footscray. Don McKenzie, who went on to coach the Dogs. Kicked 5 goals that day from Laurie Sandilands. Brownlow medalist John Schultz and David Thorpe.
Yeah.
Who went on and played in a Richmond Premiership side in 1974. So there you go. And before the game, both teams and umpires lined up to meet the then Governor of Victoria, Sir Rowan Delacombe, who was the patron of the club at the time. And Sir Rowan walked down to the member stand with the Richmond president, Ray Dunn, to a small gate leading onto the arena. But the small gate was locked, so then was a bit of a delay as the party waited patiently for about 2 minutes while an harassed official found the missing key to let them in. So
What was happening around the world?
Okay, I'll let you know. Just on a footy note, the great Len Smith, who was, your old man used to talk about what a great football person he was, a great coach, a tactician, way ahead of his time, was really important in the our evolution here to start that golden era. He actually died 50 years ago on next Sunday, July 23, 1967. He was only a young man. He was only 50, 55, 56, but he'd had several heart attacks and that, unfortunately. So he only coached Richmond in 15 games, 64 to 65, but a huge legacy at the club. Now, on July 21, 1967, so that's coming up to 50-year anniversary, the town of Winnicone, Wisconsin, announced its secession from the United States because it was not included in the official maps at the time, and it actually declared war, but the secession lasted for 1 day when it was repealed. So, and even to this day, there's an annual Sovereign State Day celebration commemorates the event.
Mate, we should have declared war on Australia long ago.
Oh, well, you should have.
We get left off maps all the time.
Yeah, left out of the AFL, definitely. Should have done it.
That's a good little tidbit there. Hey, what's your new segment?
Well, got this idea to, we call it Greenberg's Grounds, if you like, but just look at all the AFL grounds, venues over the years, and a little bit of Richmond history at each of the grounds and how a few little bits and pieces of what had happened.
What do you think?
My experience there, but just obviously other grounds that I never
any
went to.
Grounds that Richmond have played on in history.
And a little bit about the grounds and what might have happened and some highlights of Richmond.
Couldn't be any worse than the top 10.
Are we starting next week? Because we're playing a Carrara.
No,
we've only won one game there ever.
No, yeah, well, you're right. No, we're not starting next week. Next year.
Next year. With the new Perth.
Well, that depends if you get the contract from the chief.
Jeez.
He's on Thomas the Tank money now.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It's going to go up a bit, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right.
A mate of mine is so pessimistic, right? So pessimistic that if there was an Olympic event of pessimism, he wouldn't fancy his chances at all. I phoned. This is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I phoned the spiritual leader of Tibet the other day.
Yeah.
And he sent me a large
The
goat.
Dalai Lama.
He sent me a large goat, which we spoke about before.
What, Tom Brady?
A large goat with a long neck.
Yeah.
Turns out I phoned Dalai Lama.
Where do you get that?
I've recently been attending meetings of Eavesdroppers Anonymous. Not that they know. By the way, I just want to send this
The
out
most
there.
impressive thing about these gags is that in our 173rd show, you can still come up with them.
It's extraordinary. Isn't it? I know it's from my book, actually, Green as Gags, if you'll available at all bad bookshops. Yeah. By the way, if anyone knows how to fix broken hinges, my door is always open. And
You've been the doctor, you minced his
they're not good. You're looking crook today.
No, I am. It's that
Shocking.
Jetstar
Yeah,
flight
I
on
know.
Darwin
Yeah,
Saturday
it's
night.
awful. I love Snapchat. Yep, I could talk about classic card games all day.
Modern.
Did you know this is a stat that I read in the paper the other day? Apparently 1 in 3 Europeans are conceived in an IKEA bed, which is crazy because those stores are really well lit. People say I'm egocentric.
Well, you are.
But enough about them.
Well, there you go. That was your gags.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't mind. Send us in hashtag Talking Tigers. Tell us what you think about Green's grounds.
Green's grounds, yeah.
All right, we like it. Here's KD Lang that she can go out with. She was at the Tigers game on Sunday. We take on the Giants this week. Get there to
Go
the G.
Tigers.
And that's Talking Tigers.